You're good at focusing on what I want. I'm good at focusing on what I want in this physical form.
We can't do your focusing, can we? We heard what you said, and we focused there. But you've got to focus upon what you want. We can't focus enough on what you want to make you focus upon what you want, because you have free will to focus anywhere you want. You are so free, you can choose thoughts that feel terrible.
Mm-hmm. So here's my gray area. Growing up as a child in nature, playing with animals, I was always, or mostly, in the now mode.
Yeah.
Observing, reacting, enjoying.
Yeah.
There was very little thinking or imagining my future.
Well, there was thinking. There was thinking, but there was less resistant thinking. And so you've just pointed out something to yourself that we want to shine a spotlight on, because what you have just acknowledged is, when I talk about thinking, I think thinking must be upon important things, like ways to earn living or ways to change the world and things like that. So you're not giving yourself credit for the thoughts of, aren't you a beautiful beast? And isn't this a beautiful day? And aren't I having a lot of fun? And I wonder what that would do. And I wonder what that would do. You were thinking. Don't try to diminish the importance of those early thoughts. Those early pure thoughts, far more important than these later resistant thoughts. You're looking for purity in thought, not sophistication. And when you find purity in thought, it must become sophisticated, because law of attraction will respond to it. You know what makes thoughts that are not effective? A thought of desire and thinking of what you want in its absence, and you want in its absence. I want it, but I want it, but I want it, but. That thought never becomes sophisticated. It never becomes powerful, because the introduction of resistance constantly keeps it at wherever it is. Good conversation, yes?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the thoughts that I'm thinking now are more about work, next steps, the battle plans, the planning, strategy, execution.
All right, so let's just, for the sake of clarification and benefit, let's rephrase that. The thoughts that I'm thinking are more about battles and strategy and what we want to add to that. My step one thoughts are contrasting in nature as I weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and minuses of things. As I'm evaluating, as I'm gathering data, these step one thoughts are sort of resistant in nature. But what else are they? They are highly productive, because when I know what I don't want, I'm launching rockets of what I do want. So these are discerning thoughts. These are building blocks of experience thoughts. But I don't want to stay in that contrasting thought so much. At some point, I've got to go in the direction of what I've really chosen with these thoughts and practice myself into alignment with that. Yes?
Mm-hmm. So one of the challenges is this. When I start my work and I'm really good at focusing, the world disappears. I am only focused on what's happening with my work, and I'm good at performing that.
We have a question for you. While you're good at that focusing, how do you feel?
For the most part, it is good, because it turns into good manifestation for me. However, right outside my window is a beautiful lake. Turtles are coming up to lay eggs. Butterflies are flying. Dragonflies are playing around. And sometimes I'm inspired to stop my work, go out and experience that. And I do that. But within 5 minutes or so, my emails are calling me.
Here's the thing that we really want you to hear. Let's focus on the concept, the word, the idea, the feeling of satisfaction. And when you're standing and looking at the turtles out of your window, we want you to go there in your mind, looking out of the window, and tell us really how you're feeling.
I'm feeling that I want to experience it more.
Yes,
I want
you're
to
feeling
go out
lack.
and just do that for
Yes,
the whole day.
yes, you're feeling deprived. You're feeling taken advantage of. You're feeling the injustice. You're feeling something that feels unfair. You're feeling that you want to do something that you cannot do. And so there's no satisfaction even in that thought. Even with that beautiful glimpse of something, you haven't practiced yourself into a segment of intending to just feel the satisfaction in that. And that really is what we're getting at. If we can help you, if you can grasp this concept of what true satisfaction is, you'll be able to find it with your turtles and find it with your work. You'll be able to find it no matter what you're putting your attention upon, because you'll be fully present. And by fully present, we mean you'll be present, but you'll be allowing your inner being to be present. Say it again. Your inner being is always present, but you'll be allowing yourself to know and feel that your inner being is present. Your inner being is always focused with you. And whether it's turtles or whether it's some project that you're working on, it doesn't matter. Your inner being is joyful in this forward focused thought. So when you allow yourself alignment with the energy of your inner being, then satisfaction is your experience, because you're not focused in a way that is holding you apart. You see, the only thing that ever makes you feel uncomfortable, we want so much for you to hear this, we want to shout it. This is Esther's impulse because of the intensity of what we're offering. The only thing that makes you feel negative emotion or anything less than really wonderful positive emotion is you are depriving yourself of the alignment with your source energy. That's the only thing. It's not about the thing that you think is making you feel bad. You make that association. I feel bad thinking about this. But you just told us you're not feeling all that good focusing upon the turtles, because you're not even looking at the turtles the way your inner being is looking at the turtles. You're looking at the turtles as something that is teasing you and calling you and mocking you because you can't go and be there with the turtles. Your inner being is enjoying the turtles completely. And as you're focused in your lackful way about the turtles, then you're depriving yourself not of the turtles, but of the connection to your source energy, you see, who is adoring the turtles and enjoying your project. The turtles and your project are equally pleasurable to your inner being. It's not a good thing and a bad thing. It's not a free thing and a bondage thing. It's motion forward. It's life on planet Earth. It's a leading edge of creation and extension, you see. So the satisfaction factor. Life caused you to launch rockets that you're not a match to yet. All day, every day, you're launching more rockets that you're not a match to. As you close that gap between what you're asking for and what you believe about it, your satisfaction factor increases. As you widen that gap, your dissatisfaction factor increases. So over time, we've been talking to you about all these emotions like depression all the way to appreciation and love, and we've named so many in between, and there are so many others. And now, rather than talking about all of those emotions, we just want to talk about finding the most satisfying thought that you can find right now. Just reach for the best satisfaction that you can find. And so, when you're doing your work and you stand up to look at your turtles, stop for a moment and say, I'm taking a moment to enjoy this magnificent, beautiful thing. And stand there and see if you can find it. But it is our promise to you. If you've meditated that morning, you're much more likely to find it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or whenever it is that you're looking out of the window at your turtles. Do you see what we're getting at? Can you feel how it goes?
Mm-hmm. So it is possible to come out of meditation and continue that for as long as possible.
That's what we would do. We'd meditate and see how far we could get into the day before it sucks. And then we'd meditate and see how far we can get into the day before it sucks. And then we'd meditate the next day and we'd see how far we can get into the day before it sucks. And then we'd meditate and we'd see how far we can get into the day. We'd meditate and we'd see how far we can get into the day. We'd meditate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then you will start noticing a pattern. You'll start noticing that you're less edgy. You'll start noticing that you're more fluid and more flexible. You'll start noticing that you have greater insight. You'll start noticing that you're enjoying things more. You'll start noticing that you're feeling satisfaction even in odd places. The floor in the bathroom is so beautiful. The floor in the bathroom is so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. It's so satisfying to see a floor like that in a bathroom. So satisfying. And it's interesting because it's as satisfying in that moment as world peace. Because you're there and so's the floor. And your senses are focused upon it, you see.
How can I apply that to 100 emails that I have to go through? The same thought pattern. 100 emails are not satisfying.
There are a few things we want to say to you. First, you can't do it cold turkey And that on your 10th day of meditating, it will be easier than on your first, and on your 100th day, it will be easier than on your 10th. You have a greater capacity to understand what your inner being understands about the emails. You're seeing the emails as task-driven. Your inner being is seeing the emails as asking-driven, as solution-calling. Your inner being sees them as part of the process of your evolution, part of the process of your clarification, part of your process of your expansion, part of the process of your development of talent, part of the process of your development of efficiency, part of your talent of your development of discernment. You can reach the place where you can open your inbox and your inner being will show you which one you need to open and which ones you don't need to open. Some of them you don't need to open. Some of them it's not of advantage to you to open. Some of them will cause you to lose your momentum. What we are asking you to believe or trust, try, is to tune in to broader perspective who has the capacity to understand so much more than you do. You see, the other day we were talking about how there are all these people out there in the world that are your potential co-creative partners, and they're moving around in their vibrational equations, as are you. But now your vibrational equation is changing because you're quieting your mind and you're tuning more to who you are. You're tuning into this greater power and this greater clarity. So what happens now that you've done that is a different group of those out there in the world are, by law of attraction, coming to you. And you don't have to understand that. You don't understand electricity. You just know how to flip the switch. Nobody understands electricity. And there's a lot of you who think yourselves are very, very smart, and you are, but you do not understand electricity. You've learned to utilize it. You've learned to flip the switches. We're just asking you to understand that law of attraction is a powerful law, and that your inner being does understand it, and that your inner being does know exactly what you want, and does know exactly where you are in relationship to it, and is offering constant impulse and decisions sort of that go like, if I were standing in your physical shoes, what I would do is this. That's not exactly accurate, but that's sort of what your inner being is projecting to you all day long. Oh, over here, this is pleasing, this is pleasing, this is satisfying, this is satisfying, this is satisfying. But you've got to give in to the understanding that life is supposed to feel good, and that you're supposed to feel good. You are supposed to feel satisfaction, because if you don't allow yourself to discover how to consistently feel satisfaction, then you don't have your vacuum cleaner plugged in, and you're vacuuming your house without any real advantage, you see. Satisfaction, and you feeling it, is your indicator that you're really tuned in to the knowledge and to the discernment and to the vitality and to the flexibility and to the clarity and to the all of the things that you want. Toward what end? Toward more satisfaction, not toward getting it done. There's a part of your conscious mind that understands that the emails are just going to become more and 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 more. And there's a logic that says, I can't possibly deal with all of this. And your inner being is saying to you, you weren't born to deal with all of it. You were born to accomplish a vibration and radiate it. And what matches it will come back to you. And it's only what comes back to you that you are meant to deal with. That would be like saying, I'm in my vehicle. I've got my XM radio all hooked up to source or wherever it comes from. And I must listen to everything that's being broadcast on every station now. Or I could choose something that is satisfying and have an experience with it. You are not meant to rendezvous with all of the energies of the world all at once. You're not meant to solve all of the problems or answer all of the questions, even your own. You're meant to be in this moment, tuned to your broader perspective, devouring, adoring, and loving this moment in time. You didn't come to fix things. You came to devour them, to enjoy them, to bask in them, to delight in them, and most of all, to enjoy your expansive evolution within them. In other words, it's the expansion that it's all about. And so 100 emails, your inner being may not even have the impulse to open any of them. This conversation is about doing what I should do rather than what I'm inspired to do. This conversation is about motivating myself rather than finding inspiration. This conversation is about being a physical doer rather than a human being, you see. So just chill.